ready to lead the party deeper into the bewildering wood. "Wait just a moment, you lot," calls the voice of an older man from somewhere behind you. Riddis appears to be familiar with him. She calls him Mr. O. "Here you are, young lady," he says, handing her a slip of paper. Oh dear. Further, Mr. O explains, Riddis did not have a fire insurance policy at the time of the conflagration, and so she shall have to pay in full. "I'll thank you kindly to pay by the end of the month. Bye now," Mr. O says, receding from view as he returns to the forest. Hee. Riddis lets out a bemused chuckle, her demeanor remarkably calm for what has just transpired. She pulls the woodland flute from her cloak and begins softly playing. Riddis's ear-splitting performance, shall we say, draws monsters out from behind the trees. Within moments, they are nearly upon you. About the enemy. That's odd. I must have made a mistake, Riddis says, burying her face in her old book once more. She opens the book to a particular page and thrusts it in your face. "You can't tell anyone in the village I let you see this, okay?" It's a page of sheet music with a note scrawled beside it that reads, "Play this lucky tune to reverse your financial fortunes and make money woes a thing of the past." "No matter how many times I played this last night, our debt never went down," she fumes, incensed. You inspect the page a bit more carefully. Off in a corner, in letters so small as to be illegible, another message reads, "You finally see that so long as Riddis holds the flute, this is nothing more than a monster conjuring melody." You snatch the woodland flute from her hands. "You have lost your flute-playing privileges," you inform her. "But I'll never escape from this mountain of debt without it," she cries, clearly still believing in the melody of fortune. Melanie quietly opines that while Riddis is many things, bright is not one of them. Fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold. Add a fiery shout to overcome the cold, taking your words as ridicule. The woman's eyes suddenly grow dark. How dare you insult my song? You will pay for this atrocity in blood, she exclaims, then attacks. That was lucky. How pitiful I am, brought to my knees in these woods, defeated by savage adventurers. What an epic song that would be. You did great. Seemingly satisfied, the woman succumbs to slumber. You decide to part ways from this woman, hopefully never to meet again. Don't hold back. Here, Ritis chirps, pushing overgrown boughs and shrubs aside. As she does, a hidden path out of the bewildering wood comes into view. Excellent. Your body is soothed by the gentle tone. It feels as though your fatigue has somehow washed away. That was lucky. Nice work. At last, you are free of the bewildering wood. Praise the power of the woodlanders, you squeal in admiration of Riddis. She giggles bashfully. You've certainly kept your promise, you say. Thank you for showing us the way. I was hoping I could join you on your quest to defeat the dragon, Riddis suddenly blurts out. She takes out her old book and thrusts another page in your face. This week's creature of fortune is the dragon. Boons may befall those who encounter him. Melanie's jaw goes slack. What is the deal with this book? Melanie asks. I can probably pay off my debt if we can just defeat the dragon, Riddis chirps, revealing her true intentions. No, I won't dilute my share of the riches any further. No more additions to the party, you bark. Have you no heart? Are you just going to leave a young, helpless girl like me to drown in an ocean of debt and deal with that crusty old man? Riddis fires back relentlessly. I want to go. No. So goes the endless chorus of your thoroughly unproductive. Melanie calmly reminds you that the party in its current form stands little chance of defeating the dragon. See, you need me, Riddis says. Sent your well-reasoned argument of no thwarted. You nod your head in resignation and welcome Riddis to the party. You journey onward, only to see a suspicious-looking elder appear before you, a bottle of medicine dangling from his waist. He proclaims himself a man of medicine who has discovered a revolutionary new curative. He would have one of your party drink it as a test. There's no harm in trying it, he boldly claims. Well? Ridis remarks that she's been feeling thirsty. She snaps up the bottle and happily gulps down its contents. Hey, you know, I think my financial fortune's just improved, she says, her eyes blinking with wonder. The doctor of sorts shakes his head. That is not something medicine can affect. Ridis pays the doctor of sorts as thanks, clearly not having heard his remark. Your hand falls on your open coin purse. Hey, that's your money. Up speed. A tornado is forming. You anticipate the tornado's path correctly and avoid getting swept up. Armor-clad knight stands, exuding an extraordinarily powerful aura. The knight faces you and asks, "Might you be challengers?" But after sizing you up for a long moment, his shoulders slump and he mutters, "No, you are not yet ready. Grow strong, young ones," he says, then returns to standing in silence. It appears he awaits a stalwart warrior to challenge him. Excellent. Oh? And fight. That was lucky. Don't hold back. Nice work. Congrats. fast. Ouch. Let's do this. That was lucky. That was lucky. You come across two men sitting on a rock. They take no notice of you or the party. but you can hear their fervent discussion. You listen in and deduce that they are a pair of thieves. You lean in, trying to hear what else the thieves are talking about. You catch pieces of the conversation here and there. Listen about that loot. Head south from the harbor and cross the mountains. It sounds like they've just told you where to find their stolen. You hastily grab a scrap of paper, write down what you've heard, and quietly sneak away. The harbor is closed today. Anyone seeking shoreland should move 3 spaces to the southeast. Melanie's face twists in disgust, but she soon relents. Here's hoping this does something useful, she mutters, and takes a swig. She experiences a sudden surge of magic power. The rush is so sudden, she can't quite. A stray bolt of pure magical power strikes you in the chest and sends you flying. You land squarely on your back. In seconds, you scramble to your feet to lodge righteous indignation in Melanie's direction. You turn to accost the doctor, but he's gone. Seconds later, the magic that issued forth from every fiber of Melanie's being fades, and her powers return to normal. Look, you two, it's the sea, Ridis exclaims, frolicking in glee. You, on the other hand, trudge along as far as you can from the coast, ignoring the hair sticking to your forehead. Feeling something at your feet, you glance down. There's something. It appears you've stepped on a monster's cape, making it very upset. It attacks you in fury. That was lucky. Looks like your adventure ends here. Fortune favors the bold. Excellent. Excellent. You did great. That was lucky. Nice work. That was lucky. With a whoosh of displaced air, something shoots across the path right in front of you. What is that thing? Glancing in the direction it went, you see some sort of bottle on the ground. You head over for a closer look. It's a bottle of medicine, just like you thought. It'd be a waste to just leave it there, so you pick it up and put it in your pack. Something comes rocketing down from the mountaintop. There and gone in a flash. What was that? As one, you and your friends draw your weapons to fend off the imminent attack. Only it isn't a monster. It's a The old man claps a hand to your shoulder and barks out a laugh. It's up to you now. You don't even have time to say, huh, before the old man runs off. Then, as a monster leaps out at you, looks like that old man's gotten you caught in the crossfire. About the enemy. Looks like your adventure ends here. With a whoosh of displaced air, something shoots across the path right in front of you. Glancing in the direction it went, you see some sort... Whoa! Your eyes dart around furtively as you slip the expensive-looking bottle of medicine into your pack. Let's head to Unionville first. See something approaching from up ahead. A monster, Melanie shouts, readying for battle. Mr. Flobby, get back here. It's dangerous out there. A young girl child. It seems you've finally arrived at Unionville, a village where humans and monsters... What a weird place, remarks Ridis lightheartedly. I like it. We aren't staying a moment longer than necessary, says an unsettled Melanie, her distaste for monsters plain on her face. The woman frowns deeply, claiming the cakes she bought for her beloved furball have all been eaten by someone else. A quiet furball sits with crumbs around its mouth. The child says his monster friend left the village suddenly to go back home. He claims the headman told him that he could go home when he grew up too. The little orc child pouts, but I don't know where my home is. You ask the old man if he knows anything about the dragon. No, sir, he answers. All I know is that it brings more trouble to this. But our headman is a wise and worldly man. He might know something, he remarks, pointing at a house not far away. The little goblin sulks as he gazes upon the withering flowers he tried so desperately to take care of. He looks at you with tears in his eyes, silently begging you for help. They must be thirsty, you think to yourself. Then douse the flowers in water until... Stop, stop, the goblin shrieks angrily. You're drowning. If it were that easy, the goblin says, he would have done it himself. A young boy wanders up to your group in wide-eyed wonder. You surmise his curiosity stems from the lack of travelers visiting. You realize you are right when he assails you with questions about your origins and adventures. The Inquisition leaves you exhausted. However does your mouth become so filthy, Mr. Flobby? Sighs the girl as she wipes the slime clean. Clearly embarrassed, Mr. Flobby murmurs, "That's not my mouth." The little orc child is engrossed in a fairy tale. The title reads, "The Legend of the Dragon." You take a peek into the picture book and come across a passage that piques your interest. To where, you wonder, then recall that this is merely a fairy tale. The village headman is a renowned gourmet, and rumor has it he only dines on the fine. The man says he wishes he too could have such a lavish meal just once in his life, his deep desire for delicacies only growing with time. Lately, a suspicious man cloaked in black has been seen wandering about the village outskirts. The old woman looks at Melanie and remarks that he was dressed just like her. Wow, a new friend, and so big, too, the furball exclaims in glee as it rushes over to Mar. Mar stares off into the distance as the furball snuggles up to his leg. For some reason, Riddis joins in on the cuddling. Travelers, you hear a voice call from somewhere. Down here, at thy feet. You look down to see a small clump of fur by your boots. The clump of fur speaks. I am Lappy, and I should like to journey forth with thee. Lappy the furball looks at you with amiable expectations. Of course, the more the merrier, you exclaim, pumping your fist entered, but Melanie coldly interjects. No, I can't trust. Thoroughly rejected by Melanie, Lappy bursts into tears. Lappy says he has no friends because of his aged face and speech. All alone, he decided to leave the village on a journey. Your party is silenced by the crying child with the face of a grown man. You tell Melanie to be nice and quip that both she and Lappy could use a friend. Exhausted from arguing with you, Melanie half-heartedly agrees. Fine, we can be friends. However, she says that they are on a dangerous journey to defeat the dragon. As such, they cannot. Lappy leaps up and hugs her in his excitement, exclaiming, "Thou hast made me so happy." Till next time, Melanie says, peeling Lappy off of her and placing him on the ground. Though she thought all monsters to be evil, Melanie feels that the ones here are different. Finally, a friend. You bow, but before you can speak, the man suddenly introduces himself as the village headman. He laughs, then shamelessly praises his own village as being wondrous and peaceful. "And who are you?" he asks. After explaining that you are on a quest to defeat the dragon, the headman invites you to rest your feet a bit in his village. He says that he had heard rumors of the dragon. You must be tired from your journey. Have a seat. I will have my chef prepare a feast, the headman says, then claps his hands twice to summon a stewardess. Extravagant dishes that you have never seen before are placed on the table before you. each one looking more delicious than the last. You're drooling, Melanie scowls. You hadn't even noticed. You wipe your mouth with your sleeve, then gasp as you turn to Mar. Perhaps in an attempt to hold himself back, Mar is gnawing on the table corner. There, we'll eat soon, you reassure Mar while gently stroking his head. The doors fly open in the next instant, and a girl runs in. With tears in her eyes, she tells you that her dear companion, Mr. Flobby the Slime, is missing. The headman's eyes go wide in surprise. We must find that slime right away, he says anxiously. You are starving, but it doesn't look like you'll be able to partake of the feast before you because of Mr. Flobby's disappearance. We will find your slime, and then we feast, you add quietly. Melanie reminds you that you are here to get clues about the dragon from the headman. What's the difference? Literally everything. Hunger taking its toll, you two begin to argue. Brave heroes, the headman interjects, then bows his head. It appears the story has hit a standstill until you find you need to hear the whole story from the young girl. The girl sobs, wailing about the missing Mr. Flobby. Melanie places her hand atop the girl's head and promises that your party will find her companion. The girl then hands something to Melanie. It looks like the muddy handkerchief she used to wipe Mr. Flobby. She asks Melanie to wipe Mr. Flobby with it after you find him. The girl claims to have searched the village, but regardless, looking aimlessly outside the village would be a waste of time. You decide to collect more information in the village. She says she saw a suspicious man in black with a slime outside the village not long ago. She claims they went northwest together. Did that man take Mr. Flobby? You resolve to leave the village in search of the pair. Though a torch is not strictly necessary, it would certainly help you find your way through the dimly lit shrine. Your footing is obscured in the dimness of the shrine. You should probably proceed with caution. You go forth slowly but steadily, taking it one step at a time. You take a good look at the floor and see it lined in trails of viscous liquid. No doubt a slime or 200 have passed through here. It looks like poor Mr. Flobby is being held captive by the mystery man. Hand over that slime, you shout to the man in the dark. You speak as if I kidnapped him, he remarks curtly, turning to face you. When your eyes finally adjust to the surrounding darkness, you realize the man's clothes look eerily similar to Melanie's. Melanie's mouth falls open in surprise. It seems the man has noticed Melanie as well. It looks like the two know each other. According to the man, he and Melanie came from the same village and are far from strangers. The man's revelation makes you realize that you know almost nothing about Melanie's past. You ask Melanie about her hometown, but she holds her tongue. Then the man speaks. With forbidden magic, our clan has ensured the dragon, he begins, when Melanie cuts in. She rattles on about the man, telling you that he is Vince, a lunatic obsessed with the dragon. Vince resentfully claims that he is searching for the noble dragon to protect it. You ran away from home with your tail between your legs, he ridicules. Enraged, Melanie lunges at Vince. You have so many questions, but realize that the most pressing matter is getting Mr. Flobby back. So you're ready for battle. Careful, he won't go down easy. During the fight, Vince asks, "Do you know the truth about that village?" The headman may look like a nice old man, but he keeps those little monsters around too, he begins. But before he can finish, Winifred, Edwin, and Berwin of the Ivory Order appear. The three brush you aside, fixing their attention on Vince. "So you are the one who disturbs the peace," they exclaim, then charge at him. The Ivory Order and that false justice they serve are the true evil here, he retaliates, fighting back. Seeing the two parties occupied with each other, you realize this is your chance to grab Mr. Flobby. Perhaps wary of humans, Mr. Flobby dashes out when you draw near. When you reach out to grab Mr. Flobby, he suddenly attacks. Lower Mr. Flobby's stamina to calm him down. Exhausted from the fight, the raging Mr. Flobby finally stops attacking. But it seems he hasn't yet come to his senses. He glares warily at your party. Find something to help return Mr. Flobby to normal. You wipe Mr. Flobby's mouth with the handkerchief you received from the girl. Then you hear a quiet voice speak. "That's not my mouth," Mr. Flobby murmurs bashfully. It looks like the girl's familiar scent on the handkerchief returned him to normal. Having regained his senses, Mr. Flobby heads back to the village. You place the increasingly sticky handkerchief in your bag. Something comes rocketing down from the mountaintop. There and gone. "Hey, you all right?" You call out to the crumpled humanoid figure before you. But when you reach out, you realize it's a monster. You scramble up and flee, but the monster calls forth its fellows. Out from beneath the rocks they crawl, salivating over their prey. There's no avoiding a fight now. And fight. I thought it was a person, you try to explain, rushing to catch up with your friends. Lappy approaches and tells you that Mr. Flobby has returned. The girl is ecstatic that Mr. Flobby is finally back home. "I'm happy for you," Melanie says with a smile as she returns the handkerchief. The girl bows her head and thanks you. Mr. Flobby looks as slimy as ever. You just hope it's a happy slime. The headman wants us to bring Mr. Flobby to him. Would you mind? You ask. Of course not. But bring him back soon, she answers with a bright smile. "I'm so happy to see you safe and sound," the headman exclaims, giving Mr. Flobby a hug. You explain everything that happened, including the incident with Vince and the Ivory Order. He expresses his relief that the Order will be taking care of the criminal. He then thanks you for your hard work and instructs his stewardess to prepare dinner for your party. You can feel your collective mouths watering at the sight of the lavish meal before you. You, Mar, and Ridis immediately dig in. You aren't sure where you find a moment to breathe among all the feasting. Please, eat to your heart's content. Once your belly is full, you realize that Mr. Flobby is gone. "Room for dessert?" the headman asks, offering you a plate of slimy jelly. You feel your stomach churning at the very sight of it. The color strikes you as familiar, and the stickiness sends a shiver down your spine. Is this Mr. Flobby?" you ask the headman, your voice trembling and The headman looks at you with a plain expression, one that holds no malice. "Is that a problem?" he questions back. "This dish is a masterpiece," he remarks with a light-hearted chuckle as he gazes at the jelly. And I have you brave heroes to thank for it. Had you not brought that slime back, we would not be able to enjoy this